Hello, you're watching QPVN News. I'm Anh Tuấn and we keep you up to date with the headlines. President LUONG receives ambassadors, chargé d'affaires of EU. Preparation for military parade on 80th National Day checked. Conference on building Ho Chi Minh cultural space abroad held. On June the 9th in Hanoi, President LUONG received European Union Ambassador Julien Guerre and ambassadors and chargé d'affaires of EU member states in Vietnam.
At the meeting, President LUONG suggested that the two sides closely coordinate to foster the Vietnam-EU relationship in an equal and mutually beneficial manner, including enhancing all-level delegation exchanges. He also stressed the need to make the most of existing cooperation mechanisms and jointly address global challenges. He called on the ambassadors to advocate for the swift ratification of the EU-Vietnam Investment Protection Agreement and the removal of the IUU yellow card for Vietnam. On behalf of the ambassadors and chargé d'affaires of EU member states in Hanoi, EU Ambassador Julien Guerre expressed his desire that the two sides would strengthen cooperation, optimize the benefits of the EU-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement, and improve market access. He confirmed the EU's intention to contribute to Vietnam's integration and development process, enhance collaboration with Vietnam in green and digital economies, agriculture, pharmaceuticals, justice, labor, defense security, and climate change adaptation. They also underscored the priority of implementing the Just Energy Transition Partnership and infrastructure and transport projects in Vietnam. Regarding the issue of South China Sea internationally issue, the EU affirmed its strong support for resolving disputes through peaceful means in line with international law and the 1982 UN Convention on the Law of the Sea.
On June the 9th in Hanoi, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Russian Federation to Vietnam, Gennady Stefanovich Betdatko, and his spouse held a reception to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the National Day of the Russian Federation, June the 12th, 1990, 2025. The event saw the attendance of Deputy Prime Minister Lê Thành Long, Senior Lieutenant General Phạm Hoài Nam, Deputy Minister of National Defense, along with leaders of ministries and central agencies.
Speaking at the event, Deputy Prime Minister Lê Thành Long affirmed that the friendly cooperation between the two countries is increasingly consolidated and developed in various fields. The party and state of Vietnam always attach importance to the traditional friendship and comprehensive strategic cooperation with Russia. Ambassador Betdatko happily assessed that this year's reception has significant meaning as 2025 marks many important milestones in the history of the Russian Federation and Vietnam. The Russian ambassador emphasized that Russia prioritizes promoting strategic partnership with ASEAN, in which it always values and wishes to further strengthen the close relationship with Vietnam, one of Russia's key partners in Southeast Asia, for peace, stability, and prosperity in the region and the world.
On June the 9th at the National Military Training Center No. 4, Senior Lieutenant General Nguyễn Văn Nghĩa, Deputy Chief of the General Staff, presided over a conference to review mission performance of the forces participating in the upcoming parade marking the 80th anniversary of the August Revolution and National Day on September the 2nd.
At the conference, the Department of Military Training and Defense Education Management briefed on the preparation in forces and means for the parade. Political, logistics, and technical work has been deployed in a comprehensive way. The units have actively prepared accommodation, taken good care of the troops' material and spiritual life, and ensured adequate military equipment, medical supplies, means, and weapons to serve the mission. Concluding the conference, Senior Lieutenant General Nguyễn Văn Nghĩa asked the forces to organize training in a strict and disciplined manner, ensuring absolute safety, the units need to closely coordinate with localities to prepare training grounds, strictly observe disciplines, enhance encouragement and motivation for soldiers to well complete their assigned tasks.
On June the 9th, at the Military Logistics Academy, the Foreign Relations Department under the Ministry of National Defense opened a training course on defense diplomacy for officers of the Lao People's Army. The cadets will be provided with training on general knowledge and foreign affairs skills, including current world and regional situations and some prominent international issues. Vietnam-Laos relations and Vietnam-Laos defense relations, presentation skills, reception skills, skills in organizing foreign diplomacy events, international conferences and seminars, the arts of conducting foreign affairs, organizing and attending foreign banquets. The training course not only contributes to enhancing understanding and trust between the two militaries, but also creates conditions for foreign affairs officers of each country to continue to coordinate in multilateral and international forums. On June the 9th, at Military Hospital 175, the Vietnam Department of Peacekeeping Operations, in coordination with the International Committee of the Red Cross, opened the International Humanitarian Law and Explosive Recognition Training course for the staff of the Level 2 Field Hospital Rotation 7. The training course aims to equip the participants with basic knowledge about the activities of the Red Cross Committee at UN peacekeeping missions, basic contents of international humanitarian law and human rights law, and how to apply them in practice to support peace, provide medical attention in dangerous conditions, regulations on sexual violence in armed conflicts and similar situations. In addition, participants are instructed on how to identify explosives left over from war, how to handle them, and how to ensure safety while performing tasks in conflict environments. The course takes place from June the 9th to the 13th, with the participation of experienced experts from the International Committee of the Red Cross. Coming up next, Conference on Building Ho Chi Minh Cultural Space Abroad held. Ninh Bình, alluring Tam Cốc spice fields. On the occasion of accompanying Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính to attend the 3rd United Nations Ocean Conference, or UNOC3 for short, in Nice, France, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Bùi Thanh Sơn met with French Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs Jean-Noël Barrot.
At the meeting, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Bùi Thanh Sơn highly appreciated the positive developments in Vietnam-France relations in recent times. Minister Jean-Noël Barrot affirmed that he will promote the early approval of the EVIPA, thereby creating favorable conditions for businesses of both countries, as well as EU businesses operating in each side. Agreed with Vietnam to strengthen cooperation in the field of science and technology, a new pillar in the comprehensive strategic partnership with much potential and ample room for cooperation.
On June the 9th, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs organized an international workshop on building the Ho Chi Minh cultural space at Vietnam's diplomatic missions abroad. Currently, these spaces are not only cultural destinations, but also places to connect the Vietnamese community abroad, while spreading Vietnamese values to local friends in a sincere, convincing and sustainable way.
In his opening remarks, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Nguyễn Minh Vũ stated that the policy of building the Ho Chi Minh cultural space aims to meet the need to standardize Vietnamese representative agencies and help promote the work of introducing and honoring President Ho Chi Minh to the world in a united manner. The contents in the Ho Chi Minh cultural space will become a common identification symbol of Vietnamese representative agencies and at the same time become a solemn place to organize foreign affairs activities. The construction of the Ho Chi Minh space requires advice from researchers and experts in culture, history, design and fine arts to ensure solemnity and effective use. We laud the experience of foreign embassies in Vietnam who have successfully built cultural spaces to honor their country's leaders and celebrities.
So I think it's a great idea. I think that Vietnam is really a champion of cultural diplomacy. Vietnam has been doing an incredible job to promote Vietnamese culture both inside Vietnam and outside Vietnam. And so I think putting together these spaces, cultural spaces that also remember Ho Chi Minh, his life and his legacy, and what his work and what he did during his life means to Vietnam.
Also at the workshop, delegates shared their experience in building Ho Chi Minh cultural spaces at Vietnamese representative agencies abroad. The space will be built in accordance with the cultural and historical context and the facilities of the host country, contributing to enhancing the connection, understanding, solidarity and friendship between Vietnam and other countries in the world today.
At the start of June, the rice fields along the Ngo Dong River in the Tam Cốc Bích Động tourist area, Hoa Lư City, Ninh Bình province, are in peak harvest season. The golden fields are especially striking this year, featuring a massive carp leaping over the Dragon Gate, design spread across nearly 10,000 square meters. The bustling scene of farmers harvesting rice adds vibrant life to the landscape, drawing in tourists from all over.
In Tam Cốc, rice is not only grown for food, but also as a cultural and tourism highlight. Locals cultivate just one rice crop a year, sown from late January and harvested in early June. Everything is done by hand, no machinery. There are no roads, so we have to travel by boat. It's tough, but for generations, we've preserved this way of life like we preserve our culture, our people, and everything here. The rice harvest in Tam Cốc boasts a unique appeal for both domestic and international visitors. It's a vivid picture woven by nature and the creativity of hard-working farmers. Whenever I feel stressed, I just want to come to Ninh Bình to enjoy the peace and fresh air here, with rice fields and mountains. Though the weather is hot, the surroundings offer a special experience and a real sense of tranquility. We encourage local residents to preserve these rice fields and maintain traditional and ecological farming practices rather than modern mechanization to protect our national identity. Through the Tam Cốc rice fields, farmers, local authorities and businesses have come together to preserve the cultural and natural values of this heritage site, paving the way for sustainable tourism development.
As we say goodbye to Ninh Bình in the final session of today's news, let's join a journey to Suối Giàng in Văn Chấn district, Yên Bái province, home to ancient san tuyết tea trees standing tall through time. More than just a crop, san tuyết tea is a symbol of culture and livelihood, deeply rooted in the lives of generations of the Hmong people.
Suối Giàng covers an area of nearly 500 hectares, including a cluster of 400 san tuyết tea trees over 100 years old, officially recognized as Vietnam heritage trees. To promote Suối Giàng tea, Vàng A Sáu and friends created a tea culture space to welcome tourists and introduce them to the distinctive bitter-sweet flavor of san tuyết tea, helping boost sustainable tourism, create jobs and improve local income. My wish is to introduce our tea products and share the culture of this land so that when people visit Suối Giàng, they know about us and our community. Efforts to preserve and promote san tuyết tea are paying off. Many ancient trees now feature QR codes provided by the Yên Bái Department of Information and Communications, helping customers trace details like the tree age, origin, and geographical identity.
Khi mà công ty chúng tôi xuất những sản phẩm
When
từ
exporting suối giàng tea abroad, we have to follow strict standards. The tea must be safe and clean, completely free from pesticides and chemicals. When these standards are met, they trust and regularly order from us. The story of Suối Giàng Shan Tuyết tea is not just about a region or a type of tree. It's about a shared sense of preservation, unity, and the will to rise.
This is the end of the QPVN news today. Remember to watch our news again at qpvn.vn. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.